Jeez. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited tonight to introduce a friend of mine, Michael Bourque, who I've gotten to know over the last year. And it's funny because, sometimes when I'm looking for musicians or composers, I actively go out and look for them, whether it be on Facebook or live. Sometimes musician friends will refer something to me, or people will approach me. This is the first time I actually did not expect to find Michael Bourque as a musician. I actually saw him, knew of him when I was working at an engineering company in Massachusetts. And we both worked there at the same time, but partly because of COVID and partly because I didn't work much in the office anymore. I never got to meet him, but I kept seeing his presence on LinkedIn and got to know him as an amazing Renaissance man. And I'm going to share in a few minutes with you the many facets of Michael Bourque. It's quite an interesting personality. And but I also discovered that he's a musician and he's done some wonderful compositions and he's got a lot of talent there as well. And I approached him some time ago and I finally twisted his arm and convinced him to join us on the show because he's got some wonderful music that needs to be heard. So without further ado, let me introduce Michael Bourque. Michael, say hello.
Hey
Yeah,
everybody, my name is Michael Bourque. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for having me on your show, Andrew.
sure.
I've also been learning a lot about you and your many facets in this composer's corner that you've got. So
Hmm.
when you first asked me to be a part of it, I was a little shy, but you have convinced me that it's that's worthy to have these conversations. So I'm pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Well, let me share a little bit about who you are because it's I there's just so much going on in your life. There's so much that you do. It's really pretty impressive. Very impressive. So let me do this. I want to share the screen and I call this the many sides or many facets of Michael Bourque. And let me first put this in presentation mode. Here we go. And and so hopefully it's coming up full on the screen. So
Yes.
these are just various shots of Michael. You can see him as a machinist here, as an engineer, as a musician. This is an art piece he did on himself as a little boy today, just the many sides. But he's got many attributes besides just what you see here, and I'll just go through some of them. This is some of his artwork. And actually, I just discovered this is not his artwork. Do you want to tell us a story on this one?
Well, yeah, I don't have a very common name, Michael Bourque, but there is a
Hmm.
guy that lives in Malden who's an artist like I am with the name Michael Bourque.
Love it.
And when I first saw the slide you were going to show, I was going to say, "Oh no, that's not mine." But hey, that's a good advertisement for him. All Michael Borks could use a good plug. It's just
Yeah.
another person that's being creative. But I enjoy all forms of art, whether it be digital, painting, and music, and forms of expression. So yeah, these are some of my pieces.
But tell us about the strange way you came across him. You actually both were on a plane to India. Is this, am I correct?
Yeah, that's
Remember
right.
this correctly?
Yeah, that's right. We were both on a plane going to India.
What's the
Well,
chance of that
actually,
happening?
well, technically, we were on our way to New York, which I was going
Uh-huh.
to continue on to India, but we were
Uh-huh.
on the same plane.
Yeah.
And when I tried to get on the plane, they wouldn't take my boarding pass. The computer said there's some kind of malfunction, and they kept looking at me, and they said, "Well, just get on the plane anyway." So I went on the plane, and halfway through the flight, I'm looking at my slip and saying, "Wait a minute, this isn't my middle initial. I'm not sitting in this seat." And I went over there to go ask who this man is. He says, "I'm Michael Bourque." And there was this just kind of moment in the airplane. No, I'm Michael Bourque. No, I'm Michael Bourque. As pleasurable as that was, I realized when I landed in India that my baggage did not arrive because
Oh, God.
they technically didn't know I was on the plane.
Oh, jeez.
So it was a funny, unusual way, but come to learn, he just lives one town over from me, and we stay in
Yeah.
touch. And he's a wonderful creator.
And you both are artistic. In fact, these other pictures are all yours. And the bottom one is your house, I believe, that you repurposed. And the top one is another scene that you've repurposed. And then you do also do these abstract things that are just gorgeous. And we have another sample of it later. Um, This is some of your work, right? Are these pieces that that your consortium, your
Yeah, I,
clearinghouse covers?
I'm always inventing stuff,
Hmm.
and I'm like my dad and my grandfather. We were tinkerers.
Mm.
And whenever we had an idea, we'd go to the basement and make a new one out of wood, or we'd fashion something out of old parts.
Hmm.
And I'm sort of a modern day version of that. My
Mm.
craft was metal, but I really got into design and computer aided design and ultimately 3D printing. So these are all 3D printed inventions of mine
Wow.
that solve everyday inventions.
Hmm.
Some of them are things I've brought to market, made millions of dollars on.
Mm.
Some of them are just ideas that I've had. I'm
Hmm.
sort of a whimsical person.
Mm.
One of them you might notice is a remote control for an Apple TV. I lost my Apple
Is
TV
that what this is?
remote control. It's the one that's Yes, see that right there? And there's another
Yeah.
one that's green in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
lost that remote control because it's so poorly designed. It was in the
Mm.
bed. It was in like at the behind my couch.
Mm.
So I thought, bingo, I could just 3D print a better form factor for it, and I had it done in a few hours, and then I uploaded it to everyone, and
I
that's
love
been
it.
downloaded thousands and thousands of times. You can't believe how many people have. It's sort of like listening to songs. You'd like to know who listens to your songs.
Yeah.
When I give a lot of these models away, I know who's used them. They tell me messages
Oh,
sometimes.
that's wonderful.
So
You
thousands
know,
of
I'm
people.
laughing a bit too because we had so many problems when I had kids in the house, our children and the remote, that I actually had the remotes tethered to the night table by the couch, so they could not
Yes,
leave. They could not leave.
it's a
Anyway,
common it's a common problem. You might also notice another picture is there of a QR code. We'll talk about that
yeah, we'll
later.
talk about that later.
Always
Yeah.
3D printing, and then there's one of your products in there,
Ah,
which is something I made for you, right? Some tongs for your
yeah.
barbecue grip.
Oh,
But yeah,
is that
vacuum
in
pump.
here? By the way, I
Well,
am using it and loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's great. Yeah,
okay.
and we had it custom made, might as well say, the Avery House, which is our home down here in Windham, Connecticut.
When
Then
you
this,
asked me to design that, you first asked for a handle, but when you saw the name Mike on it, you said, "Oh, could you change that to Avery House?" And so I
right?
did. But just goes to show you the miracle of the ability to 3D print something is you can customize it.
You
So I
know, I
really
never
love
thought
that.
I'd own a 3D printer, but you talked me into it, and I'm very glad I have
Yeah,
it now.
you'll have to
Really,
explain yourself later. Yeah,
right, really
that's
exciting.
another show.
Yeah, this is a wonderful picture of you that you did. This is during your singing days, right? Your band days, I believe, because you
No,
had
that's
that.
an artificial intelligence picture of me.
Oh,
I
is
don't
it?
know. Yeah, but it's
Oh,
kind of
wow.
when you look at that picture, am I looking at you or am I looking off to the side? It's kind of a
Mm,
weird optical
that is
illusion.
interesting. Yeah.
The other in the corner is some art that I did. It's called eyeshadows.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
So you see those are eyes with shadows on them.
Yeah. And you have enough artwork out there. You could have your own gallery. I really encourage people,
Well,
if you haven't been on LinkedIn, go to just look for the Michael Bourque. There's this Michael Bourque. There's multiple ones, and you'll be quite impressed with the array of stuff he has. So, and this is something wonderful you did for someone whose wedding gift was a hand painted uh, crossword puzzle. She was missing a piece, and you replaced it for
yeah.
her. I understand, right?
Let me explain it. A
Yeah.
woman took a risk and posted something on Facebook, the city's Facebook group. Is there anybody out there
Mm.
who could 3D print a replacement for this puzzle piece that I've hand painted, and the wedding's just in a week,
Oh my God.
and so she said in the post, well, you can read it. So I took the task and I
Mm-hmm.
had her take a photo of it with the quarter next to it, or actually a nickel.
Mm.
And I brought
Mm-hmm.
it in the computer, and you can see I did that there. And then I 3D
Mm.
printed that one, and I
Mm-hmm.
gave it to her within 2 hours. And then she
Wow.
put it together and painted it, and it's already. I think she's already delivering it
I
this
love it.
weekend.
Oh, this
So
happened recently. Wow.
this happened recently. Yeah,
Oh
this is
my
a new
God, that's
story,
great. That's
and
great.
that's what I say about looking for opportunities to
Hmm.
please people, to show
Yeah.
people, and I couldn't charge her for that. In fact, I say
Mm.
it's sort of a huge opportunity to be able to do that for someone,
Yeah.
and she's got a great story to tell her friend that's getting married. Hey, guess what? I worked on this puzzle. We looked all over the house for this piece, and would you
Hmm.
know it? Some kind gentleman in Melrose actually 3D printed this missing piece, and I
Yeah.
told her to call it the love puzzle piece.
I love it. Now, by the way, speaking of doing things for people, I currently saw recently that you are willing to donate your time to help people 3D print things for ALS.
That's right.
And with the idea that they would donate to the cause. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I didn't really get many takes on that, although I did a walk for my brother Stephen, who passed away of ALS at the age of 58. He was a
Oh
wonderful
boy.
craftsman and a wonderful husband and father and brother, all
Mm.
those things.
Mm.
And he carried a lot of the similar traits
Mm.
that I have and we share in our family. So
Mm.
losing him was very difficult. ALS is a
Mm.
very difficult, painful thing. The first thing it takes away from you is your voice.
Mm.
But I was able to raise, let's see, $350 on a walk that I did. But I have a friend of mine who makes guitars. He 3D prints guitars in New Zealand,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, and what we're going, he's three. Yeah, there it is, right there.
Hmm.
And when I saw that, he 3D prints them only for himself.
Mm.
But when I saw this, I said, "Would you be willing to make another one?" And
Mm.
he said yes. And what we're getting ready is to auction this off somehow, and put all the money into ALS research. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful guitar. It's got beautiful
Oh my God.
pickups. It's been handmade.
Gorgeous.
and it's been 3D printed, and
Mm,
it's a one of a kind. And I
yeah.
actually wonder if we can find a famous guitar player who might be willing to give up some great money for that.
Wow, that'd be great. Now, this is actually a page of things that you haven't done, but that you get involved in. So you were interviewed on 3D printed laces for tissue reconstruction. This is something you found and shared with us from a group that you're involved in. This is
Yeah, I run one
yeah.
of the world's largest Facebook groups on 3D printing.
Mm,
I'm not the only one, but I'm out there trying to teach and advocate, be sort of a Johnny Appleseed with respect to 3D printing and
hmm.
design and creativity. And look how clever that design is.
Yeah,
It's printed on a 3D printer,
just
and
gorgeous. Yeah,
it is gorgeous what you can
yeah.
do. So you can make anything now with 3D printing. That's
Well,
what I like
here's a
about it.
case where they make keys, just taking a picture of it, I guess, and you can make
Yeah,
a.
we took a picture of a key. I was at a trade show, and a guy
Mm,
wanted to show me his incredible machine.
mm,
And I was walking around with a hardware friend of mine, and he makes keys all day long.
mm,
And I asked him, his name is Bruce, do you ever have situations where you don't have the key in stock? He says, well, yeah. So he took a
mm.
picture of this key, and then it was 3D printed in metal, and then it worked right away. So
Wow. So
it's
you don't need the blank at all. You just basically build it from scratch,
you can
3D
build it
print it.
from scratch. That's
Love
right,
it.
and you can print metal.
Oh my
Now,
God, that's great.
it's still going to take a few years for the price and cost to come down, but that particular, if you consider the machine already being paid for, that
Mm.
cost about 83 cents to print.
That's great because I have a key that no one seems to have a duplicate of. So let me go back because I skipped a few. This is some of your other artwork, which just blows my mind. Just I love, and this one has pictures of people in it, basically silhouettes of people.
One of my
Um,
favorite artists is MC Escher, and I love how
oh,
he morphs things. And so I like to play around with shapes and then twist
hmm.
them around and see what I'm more of a person who just finds art. I don't even have some of the ideas. I'm just messing around with a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. This one on the lower left-hand corner is actually a picture I took. I was standing on the edge of some waterfront at the Prince Edward Island, Canada,
Mm.
and I wrapped the photo around on itself,
I love it.
and it makes it look like I'm at the center of the world, which I'm
Yeah.
not. But yeah,
You know, we literally could dedicate the whole hour just to your art, but we have to move on. Now, this is also you, some of your inventions. Here's a something you put on the outside of an eye camera to make it like it looks like a camera, so you can hold it and use it as a camera, which is very clever. That's some of the camera work that came out of that. This is a shell for the Nest thermostat. This is something you did
yeah,
for a
I met
guy that,
someone who said their nest looks ugly.
yeah,
I said, "What do you mean?" Well, and I want it to look nicer, and I 3D printed in this wooden cover, and he loves it. And that could be
I
a
love it.
product right there.
Yeah.
So, with 3D printing, and if you know design, you can go to work and you can make everything in your life augmented.
Hmm. Yeah. We talked about that. This is some pictures of you. This is the place where you got married. This is a beautiful restored organ. And is that where is that exactly?
That's in Methuen,
Hmm.
Massachusetts, and it's known as the Methuen Memorial Hall.
Mm,
And it's the Boston's original organ that fell out of grace when the symphony orchestra sort of came back in style. No
mm.
one wanted it. It fell out of disrepair, and a man in Methuen bought it for $500, had it shipped to Methuen. He'd spent thousands and thousands of dollars building a cathedral around it and then
Oh my
renovating
God.
it. And
Wow.
so it's a church. It looks like a church, but it's not. And we wanted a place to get married that wasn't a church necessarily. And we hired an organist to play this amazing organ. And the sound
Mm,
that this made was
yeah.
just astounding. And the
Yeah.
look of it. And it was carved of mahogany and cherry. And it's
Absolutely
adorned with
gorgeous.
just about every. Yes, and they keep it restored, and you can go visit there. And they run an event every Christmas where you can go listen to Christmas music on that organ
Wow.
still.
I have a friend that's played this organ. She's an amazing organist. And also one time we had an event there and it was just mind-boggling, just beautiful,
How's that
gorgeous.
so?
Now, then you also show us interesting things, everything from Henry Ford exhibiting hemp-based material, which I never even knew about, just to something your dad invented, which was a an apple picking contraption. Just wonderful things like that. And then you're also a thought leader, so you've been on shows, featured on shows. You've written a book called How to Be a Courageous Leader and love it. And so, a man of many talents, my friend. Now, this is also something you did for your dad, which I think is absolutely very clever. A QR code that you printed, so anyone coming by could see his life. If you snap that, you can see his life. And your post, as you can see, got 2 million impressions. So pretty impressive
Still
in many
growing. In
respects.
fact, I've been interviewed. I've been on the Kim Commando show. I've been on a radio show a few times. I've been interviewed, and
Wow,
a TV show that wants to come here next year and actually film a biography on it.
I love it. I
So
love it.
yeah, it's a very interesting way
Yeah.
to think about of loved ones that have passed.
Yeah. Now, this is something that you didn't do, but you brought to everyone's attention. I have to admit, when I first looked at it, I didn't appreciate what it was. But if you squint, you can see it actually says "Do not give up," which I think is a great way to leave your presentation. And you suspect it might have been built with AI, perhaps?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretty much believe that AI could do something like this very
It,
easily.
very
I wish I
clever.
could call it my own, but no.
Oh,
But I
it's
have
very
done
clever.
mosaics and stuff like that. I try to be very clever.
Yeah.
In my music, I try to be very clever and
Yeah.
try to show musicianship.
Hmm.
So this piece is just, you might look at it, but when you squint your eyes and zoom out, you see something totally different, which I get a kick out
Exactly.
of.
Well, now on to the main event, which is your music. So let me get stop sharing on this end, and let's talk about some of your music. And the first thing I asked you to play is something that's actually not a tune written by you, but just to show your musicianship, because I think it's just a beautiful rendering of a famous song, "Chestnuts Roasting in an Open Fire." And so you want to share the sound on this and share it with us, and then we'll listen to this wonderful rendering that you did.
Yes, you can see my screen.
Sure.
Okay, great. I'm going to play this with a player, and let me just.
Very nice. Now, is this something that you read sheet music to, or did you do it by ear? How did you go about doing this one?
Well, they play this song so many times on the radio. If you come
Yeah.
looking at my screen,
Mm.
the trick to me doing this song was to try to break from the tradition,
Hmm.
and I challenged myself to create a sort of a different arrangement of this very popular song. And I even
Mm.
changed the lyrics up a little bit because instead of singing Yuletide carols being sung by a choir with folks dressed up all like Eskimos, oh, I hear it. It says, and every parent child is gonna lie that reindeer really know how to fly. So I've even got the lyrics sort of figured out, but no, it sort
Mm.
of just came to me, and I don't read sheet music.
Yeah.
I hear music in my head, and I'm
Hmm.
able to sort of work out the arrangement. And
That's
that
wonderful.
piece just didn't take very long. It's just piano and bass and some strings.
It's real. That's a real talent right there, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's get to something that you wrote for your daughter. I guess when she was, is this when she was born?
Yes, when I found out she was going to be born, yes,
Mm.
I
Hmm.
wrote a song about her. This is probably one of my oldest recordings that I have
Hmm.
in my library.
Mm.
Let me see if I can. I'll play it for you here. It's called "Made for You." I'll
Hmm.
pull up just "Made for You" here, and here are the lyrics. Well, it actually doesn't have any lyrics, but it's an idea of a song, and the idea of
Hmm.
the song is it's a great, wonderful thing to have children, and you want to make a child's life perfect and just for them. So the
Mm.
song is literally about, well, it's her world was made for her. So here is "Made for Her."
Hmm.
Actually, it's called "Made for You," and
Hmm.
it's just a simple melody, and I hear there being a clarinet probably played in the upper register. So here
Mm.
we go.
Hmm. Very sweet. Very
That's
sweet.
been
I can
for
see this.
you.
Yeah, I could definitely see this being a, a background to just a wonderful little movie, very touching movie. It's just really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear strings in the second verse. I hear some
Hmm.
clarinet. I hear some woman singing in a sultry way,
Yeah.
maybe, or some kind of interesting way. But it's kind of sort of a lullaby as well,
Mm.
and it is about the wonderful experience of bringing a child into
Just
the world. That's very special.
wonderful. We got to get you in the studio with some of these things and get it done because it just goes so gorgeous. It could really be very, very nice. Um, the next thing I think we just decided to do a little bit of is the vocal breakout of your band. So, tell us a little bit about your band, what you guys used to do, and then tell us about the song. I forget how to
Oh,
pronounce the song, but I love it.
Bodhisattva, and it's a
Yeah.
hard word to pronounce, and it's a
Hmm.
hard word to sing, and that's the whole point of what I'm about to play with you.
Yeah.
Play for you. So many years ago, I had the idea to form. I started a band when I was 16,
Mm.
so I've been in and out of bands many, many times. But when I got a
Mm.
little older, I really loved the music of Steely Dan, and I had this
Mm.
idea to create a Steely Dan tribute band, which
Mm.
I did. And we had about 12 members. I had background singers. I was the lead singer. We had keyboards. I played keyboards. We had saxophone. We had drums, guitar, bass. We had the whole nine yards. But we do
Mm.
these practice sessions where we would practice how to actually sing all these lyrics. So this song
Yeah.
is from Steely Dan named Bodhisattva, and it's actually sort of a live recording of us practicing.
Can you show me shining your Japan? Sparkle on your China. Can you show me Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva? I'm gonna sell my house in town. Bodhisattva, I'm gonna sell my house in town. And I'll be there, shining your Japan. Sparkle in your China. Yes, I'll be there. Bodhisattva,
I
Bodhisattva.
work.
Okay, so the only thing I would say is
I love it. I love it. That's great. Just so beautiful. That's a lot of work getting that to come through that way, I'm sure.
And so if that's what the lyrics sound like when we're in the song, you can imagine what the accompanying instruments would sound like. It turned
Hmm.
out incredible.
Yeah.
So I love to work on background harmonies and perfect those phrasings.
Mm. Let's talk about your process a bit, because I remember you telling me that when you think of writing a song, you're very conscious of the fact that you need some kind of a hook. So, do you start with the hook as a concept and then build the rest, or do you build it but always keep in mind that you have to get to the hook, or how do you go about thinking about it?
Well, I always have music in my head,
Yeah.
and I'm always humming a melody or an earworm.
Hmm.
But when it comes to my own songs, what I do first is I work out a hook,
Mm.
some splendid part of the song that is the listener's craving to come back. And
Hmm.
it's the part that's most important to a song. I've also learned in songwriting not to bore the listener. So you can't have the first verse and the second verse being the same. They need to be altered, not just lyrically, but musically.
Mm.
So I'm constantly refining it over and over and over again. And what I'll do is I'll work out sort of an interesting arrangement with just a rhythm section, some bass, and some piano, and I'll put it in my car and I'll drive around and I'll sing to it. And I'll hear it over and over and over again. I have this ability to listen to it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I go back to the piano and I refine it, and I've got different versions of songs.
Hmm.
Then eventually I start to combine, as I'm working out the musical arrangements, I work backwards from that to construct a song.
Mm.
And the lyrics is often the last part. But sometimes, as I mentioned to you in our pre interview, that songs just pour out of me right away. I think you called it a muse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do have an example of that that we'll be queuing up in a minute. But
Okay.
I'm always experimenting with music. I have a lot of stuff I wouldn't let anybody listen to that I keep private.
Hmm.
In fact, one song we'll play later was something I decided to not keep private, and it's one song you want me to play. So I
Mm.
think as I get older, I get to get this realization that I should be sharing what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Keeping it for myself is one thing. I do enjoy creating, but
Mm.
I don't find many people talking about the songwriting process.
Mm.
So yeah, for me, there's every piece I write has a meaning to it, whether it's a musical, whether it has lyrics. A lot of my songs are I call startup ideas.
Mm.
I hope to meet someone who will help me finish them.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's a lot of what Steely Dan did. They had a lot of interesting arrangements, and they had other people, session players, perfect it. So
Oh, really? Yeah,
yeah, in a way,
that's
I'd love
great.
to do the same thing.
Sure, sure. Well, maybe someone on the show will give you a call. Now, Wide Awake, I remember listening to that song going, that's a really interesting song, but there's a backstory to that too, I'm sure. So you want to share a little bit of what that's about?
Yes, I'll play this. So let me before I play that there.
Yeah.
So the backstory with this is I was going on a trip with my family in the minivan to Maine, and when I take a trip, and I have three kids and a wife, and we got dogs, and so we're getting in the morning. I like to take the trip at night,
Hmm.
so that way when the kids wake up, it's daytime. Them sleeping in the car is a lot easier than hearing when are we going to get there? When are we going to get there?
I never thought of that. I wish I thought of that when I was a parent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the idea came to me to write a lullaby to stay awake. Everybody
Hmm.
knows a lullaby is to go to sleep.
Hmm.
So the song is written in guitar. It has three parts. The first part is about this guy getting ready to go on this trip. He's buzzing himself with coffee, trying to get everybody into the car, and then he stops along his way for a Starbucks. And then the second part of the song is when the coffee kicks in, and he has this sort of relationship with this goddess of coffee he imagines, and he writes a song with her with that keeps him awake
Hmm.
for the whole trip. And so
Hmm.
there's kind of lyric ideas that are in there, and there's some sound effects in the song too that I hope that you'll hear. And then it ends. The third part of the song ends with when I arrive. It's now daytime. Everyone's waking up, and now I'm ready to go to sleep. I can go to sleep, but there's no way I'm going to be able to go to sleep because
Hmm.
I have this lullaby in my head, and
Wow.
that's the way the song ends. So let
Hmm.
me pull up the lyrics so you could see the lyrics
Oh,
while I
excellent.
play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Wide Awake. And if you think about the word wide awake, why would we say anything's wide awake? That's kind of a weird phrasing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It is
So
a weird
it's a
phrasing.
song about trying to stay awake, dreaming with your eyes open. And here it is.
Yeah, I guess the opposite is narrow awake. I'm not sure what that would be. How this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, love it.
All right, here you go. And I might sing some parts of it because it's just me
Excellent.
humming.
Okay.
Trapped in my head, miles up the coast of Maine. The coffee for two will be on the way. Stay away, for goodness sake, don't drive your back. Sounds coffee's about to kick in. Please stay away. That's it.
All right.
So that's in three parts. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
very
that's
nice.
Wide Awake.
Hmm.
And
Was
there's
the
some sound
ding was
effects in there.
was the ding the coffee cup, the coffee thing going off? Is that what
So
that
there's a
was?
drip in the beginning that
Yeah.
happens, and there's some sound effects that go back, and there's a cell
Hmm.
phone that rings. And I played that song to people, and they actually checked their cell phone right in the middle of the song. Did my phone ring?
Well, you know what I love is the
Everybody.
idea of the goddess of coffee could be. I think we talked about this. The idea of the lady logo of the Starbucks coffee. I
That's
could see
right.
a movie where she's actually talking to you. It could be very funny. A video of this could be very funny with all the scenes along the way.
And it's a
Uh,
true story. Everyone knows that how important it is to stay awake when you're tired, right? And I
mm,
had my whole family in tow, and just imagine if I didn't stay awake. So I'd force myself, I'd bite my tongue, I'd do whatever I could to stay awake.
yeah,
And
I have
that's
to
when I
tell you,
came
I
up
had
with
a
this.
scary incident recently where I was driving after a very long trip, and I closed my eyes for a second. The next thing I know, I'd actually had fallen asleep temporarily in the road, and
That's
luckily my car's got cruise control and self-driving. It stays in the lane and everything, but it scared the bejesus out of me, and I swore I will never have an ice cream sandwich on the road again. I think it kind of knocked me out. Definitely coffee if I'm on the road a lot. Anyway, moving on ahead. Let's talk about this one, which is a fascinating song about someone I think it's a great concept. Someone's in a jury and they get distracted by a beautiful lady in the jury. And it's not clear they can even pay attention to what's going on in the courtroom, which is, you kind of wonder, did that really happen? That's actually a great story. So, yeah.
I love satirical lyrics and
Hmm.
wordplay. So
Hmm.
I'm going to sing this one. But if you look at the lyrics, you really don't know what's happening. I mean, it could be me in the jury box. It could be someone else in the jury box. It could be this foxy lady
Hmm.
in the jury box. But this song is sort of channeling my Steely Dan instinct. And I've got two different versions of this song. I'm going to play the one that I did on guitar. It's a later recording. But let me play that for you, and you can read the lyrics here. And I actually sing it on top of my own. I wouldn't say I'm a great singer, but I imagine someone singing this song in the future and putting a real great sound to it. But it's got clever lyrics, and it was co-written by a friend of mine, and it's called "Swear to Tell the Truth."
Hmm.
All eyes as a judge walks in. Day 23, I'm on this trial again. I tried to get recused, but I had a lame excuse. That's what the judge said. I recall it was day number 2, and I didn't even know just who was suing who. 'Cause there in the jury box was a certifiable fox. That's when the judge said,
Be seated. I had to look away. I could see the way you swear.
to tell the truth, I'm trying to pay attention, at least that was my intention. Screw that troubled youth. I had to look away, I witnessed on parade. I'm just riffing here on guitar.
Mm.
That's basically the song,
Yeah.
and it goes back and forth like that, and it's done in guitar. And I look forward to sort of doing another rendition of this with piano and horns, and putting some more jazz
It's
into
got a
it.
nice, great beat to it. Very,
Yeah,
very,
thank you. I
very
appreciate
lively.
that.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
nice. Okay. This next one is great. And this is actually quite the masterpiece, I believe, right?
Yeah, thank you. You asked me, let me find my own song, so I have it here. I do. Yeah.
Mm.
This song is about my dad, and it's a very
Mm.
personal song.
Mm.
And it's a great song because he was a great man.
Mm.
And it's, I would say, a very sad sounding song. The way that it begins almost sounds
Mm.
like a funeral procession, but it turns into some sort of enlightened chord and it starts to become beautiful. So
Mm.
I hope the song is very expressive. It goes in and out. There are no words to it. There could be words. It
Mm.
would be interesting to do this, but this is one of those songs that came out like just in like a few hours. I
Yeah.
did the first take. I did some strings. So let me play that for you, and it's called Great, and I hope that you like it.
It was just beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah.
I find myself, I had a period of my life where I lost 9 friends and family in 6 months, including my boss, which was, just incredible. It seemed like all around me, the world was falling apart. This is before COVID. And I was compelled to write a song that I called Friends and Family Past. I find for me, writing music is a very cathartic way to deal with pain and
Hmm.
sadness and depression. And if it's helped me keep my sanity. When I was a kid, there'd be times when I just really needed the piano. It became my companion to deal with things. And sometimes, of course, when I'm happy too, it expresses happiness. You can actually express a lot of feelings through the piano, and I'm sure you go through some of that too. So,
Yeah, I'd like to explain. When I was a kid, the way I learned piano was I had a little bike and I drive it up to the other part of town in
mm,
Reading, and there was an old piano store there that had a lonely salesman in there, and I befriended him, and I said, "Do you mind if I play any of these instruments?" He says, "No. In
mm,
fact, I'm lonely here, so play what you want." So I played every Yamaha, every
mm.
fancy piano there was, and I found the ones that I liked, and I was writing music back then. And he
Wow.
said this to me. Yeah, he actually said I was quite good, and that gave me a lot of interesting confidence that I needed as a young boy.
Yeah.
And then I went as 20, I became 27, and I decided after being in so many rock bands and playing instruments and so forth that I would actually maybe take a lesson. And I sat down and played for this woman who was a professional piano teacher, and I played one of my compositions, and she turned to me and says, "No, you don't need any lessons. You're probably just better off just, playing by ear." So, there's
Yeah.
people like me. I'm not alone. A lot of people play by ear. I don't read
Mm.
music. I have to memorize everything. But
So when you write this, you're not thinking A minor, I have to go to this or whatever. It's all
no,
like,
it's
yeah,
natural to me.
yeah,
I
that's
think we're born
beautiful.
with that natural ability to hear music. I hear
Yeah,
music constantly.
yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
One of the next songs I'd like to play is a song that I composed. I challenged myself to create something that was more than just piano and bass. And
Hmm.
I put about 15 instruments together in this piece. It's called
Mm.
Digital Ocean Breeze, and I'll
Hmm.
play it for you. But it's all digital instruments, with the exception of the recording of the sound of the rain and the sound of the waves, which you're going to
Wow.
hear all throughout the song. That was recorded on the my digital audio tape deck, which I'm using right now to record this interview. But let
Mm.
me play that for you. It's called Digital Ocean Breeze, and it goes through various sections, and it's got this climactic sort of midsection, and then sort of ends there. And I hope you'll
Mm.
enjoy it.
Hmm. Okay.
And it's one of the more popular songs. So, but
Hmm.
I enjoyed playing that one. It's a lot of fun to listen to. It
Yeah.
sounds to me like a movie. Something's
Yeah.
happening in the background. There
Definitely.
would be some kind of theatrical thing happening there.
Yeah.
The bang of that sound, and then the thunder that comes, and then I like the wind chimes I use at the end.
Mm. Moving along. Uh, this next song is about your mom, right? Far away.
It is.
And do you want to give us a little preamble on that before we get into it?
Yeah, let me pull up the
Yeah.
lyrics
It's
there for
interesting. I
you.
find it interesting too because I wrote a song called Far Away as well. Very
Oh, you
different,
did?
obviously. Yes, but yeah, so it's interesting. We both had the same idea of a song title. Yeah.
Well, my mom was, as like anybody, a great mom, and
Mm.
I lost her through this painful transition we know as either dementia or Alzheimer's. And for
Mm.
me, I struggled with it because, I knew she was there and I never knew what to say.
Hmm.
And the song is really, a tribute to her, but also what's it like losing a person slowly. And there'd be
Yeah.
moments of, in fact, when my mom would suddenly recognize something. She
Mm.
was there suddenly, but then she was gone and so
Yeah.
far away. So it's this sort of idea that a person could be right there in front of you, but then be so far away. Just where is
Yes.
their mind? And so that's what the song is. I have some
Yeah.
lyrics I'm showing here,
Mm.
which I can I'll sort of maybe can play. I can sing a little bit over this because
Hmm.
this is just a sort of a background song that's unfinished.
Yeah.
So here we go. Every time I look at you, I don't know what to say. Sometimes when I passed you by, I looked the other way. But now it's gone, and I don't even have the words to say. 'Cause you're so far away, and I'm here today. All the years we've looked and cried and laughed and laughed away. You cried the day my wife became a mother on her day. And you've been my mom, you've been and my kids. Yeah, I'd sit and watch you play. You weren't far away, but now you're far away, far away. La 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 You weren't far away, but now you're far away, far away.
I just love that song. You know, it's got the same quality as yesterday in terms of its sweetness and the chord changes. It's really, and that's
What
a
a what a
obviously a
wonderful compliment. Thank you
very
very
famous
much.
song, but it really has it's that
It just
caliber of
just came
yeah.
out, and I think with some more work, it could become a real powerful
Oh my God.
composition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now this is one for your Uncle Victor.
That's
Um,
right.
yeah.
Another song that, well, I always had the idea for this song, but I never knew what it was about until the day that my uncle died. Now, a
Mm,
little story about my uncle. His name was Victor, and I was sort of a middle child. And when I would go over to visit with my folks, I was awkward. I wanted to hang out with the grown ups, and he
mm,
treated me like a grown up. And he asked me one day, Michael, what do you want to do when you get older? I
mm.
said, well, I want to be an engineer. And he says, oh, what kind of engineer? You mean a train engineer? I said, no. And he just took me seriously. And when his funeral came, I went to
Mm.
the funeral, and there was a piano in the corner, and I had this song, and I just got up in front of everyone that was there, and I said, I've got this song I'd like to play for you. It's about Victor and what he meant for me, which is what I just told you.
Mm.
And I played this song, and there was no dry eye in the room. It was just very moving. So it has no lyrics really, but it's
Mm.
kind of an interesting composition that I hope
Yeah.
your
Doesn't
audience
need
might
lyrics. It's
might
beautiful.
you might
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, here we go. I'll play that here. Yeah, it's from my uncle Victor, a
Very
great
nice.
man.
Now, before we get into some more upbeat things, your daughter wrote a song called "Move On." Your daughter Holly's very talented too, so
Well,
talent looks like it runs in the family. But okay, let's this one. So this you wrote this, and what's this about?
it's about moving on. It's about trying to figure out life and move on and admit your mistakes. And I
Okay,
mean, you could ask her. I guess
yeah,
hope that she doesn't mind me sharing it either because it's wonderful. But I think you wanted me to play it because you think it shows diversity in the family. And
yeah,
she's
yeah.
wonderfully talented, and she wrote this, and I think it's a great composition. So let
Hmm.
me play it for you.
I guess I made a couple mistakes once or twice in my life. I admit I can be graced, a little bit fazed by the finer things in life. You told me your secrets, set them all free. I admit I was only helping me. I took all your feelings, tossed them around, forgot how it felt to push someone down. So when you say your last goodbye, please just know that I tried to mend the hearts I hurt the most. And when you look into my eyes, please just know that I'm not proud of who I was, who I've become. I just wanna move on.
She's gonna write a break here too, so she's very clever.
Mm,
So when
I have to
you
believe that.
say your last goodbye, please just know that I tried to mend the hearts I hurt the most. And when you look into my eyes, please just know that I'm not proud of who I was, who I've become. I just wanna move on, just wanna move on. Can we both move on? Oh, just wanna move on, just wanna move on. Can we both move on?
And that's Holly.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Hmm. So this next one is about songwriting.
It is actually. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that you wanted me to premiere this one or show it off.
Hmm.
And it was something I always have the recorder on,
Hmm.
and when I have musical ideas, I hit the record button.
Hmm.
But the way this song starts or this recording starts out, well, I'll just let you listen to it and you'll
Well,
understand. But
yeah.
it's the problem of all my recordings is I forget to do a very important part before I play a song. To listen to this. Okay, I'll need to turn the volume up here. Here we go. Ready? Wasn't recording. Shit.
I did that once.
Holding on, every night, day, heading on, and the whole long way. Hold my hand, we'll make it way. when the feeling's alright, you just have to do something you won't look at everything more and more. You can not everything and more. It all starts out with something. All right, that's a small clipping of a song I had done just before. It was a great recording, but that one happened afterwards.
Well, what I
So,
love about it is, your voice there sounds a little bit like one of my favorite singers when I was younger, Kenny Rankin. It's got the same quality in terms of, I really enjoy that song. So it's got a lot of, I think, potential to it. And this
thanks,
last
I
song,
appreciate that.
yeah,
I listened
this
to
la-
that person. I was thinking,
yeah, check it out, Kenny
yeah,
Rankin.
I did. I
Oh,
was.
you did?
You even named the song, and I was quite. I
Yeah,
mean, I was impressed with myself. What can I say?
Sunday kind of love, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that goes back. It reminds me, that's a long time ago. Okay, this last one is a real sweet one. You want to tell us the backstory on Lady Ukulele?
Yes, and this is the title track of my album or future album or my
Hmm.
startup idea. It'd be song number 3. If you didn't know, they always make the title track song number 3 on an LP because that's the best spot on a record to put a song. It's
Mm.
not on the inside of the record, not on the outside of the record, but it's in the middle of the record. So this song is a true story. I was happened to be someplace one day in a little bit of a bad luck, and I happened to come across this pile of trash on the side of the road with a beautiful painting of this woman holding a ukulele.
Mm.
I didn't think much of it. I've been a trash picker my whole life, so I picked it
Hmm.
up, put it in the backseat of my car, drove home, hung it up on the wall, and kind of looked at it. And I thought, who would have thrown this away? Who is this woman? Why is she
Mm.
holding the ukulele? And I
Mm.
started to imagine. And you know what? Bunch of interesting things started happening in my life. I started having good luck suddenly.
Mm.
And so I thought I would reward her with a song which
Hmm.
is about turning trash into treasure,
Mm.
how to look at things mysteriously.
Hmm.
Someone actually asked me one time, maybe that's not a real painting or, maybe it's a fake or whatever, but, if you let yourself have an imagination, you can come up with some beautiful things. And so
Yeah.
I'm very proud of this song because it's actually a very complete song.
Mm.
It has good lyrics, I believe, that have good wordplay.
Yeah.
There's a part of the song where it begins where I'm sort of telling that story I just told you, but then
Hmm.
there's a moment where I kind of turn it around and I ask this ukulele girl, what's her story? And so I'll play the song and I might sing a few of the lyrics. I recorded this at my office, my startup office, and I sang all the parts, and it was just me and guitar. And it's not the greatest recording, but it's a pretty decent recording of the
Hmm.
song, and I hope to finish it. So let me play that for you. It's
Yeah.
called Lady Ukulele.
And if
So
you have a
this is,
picture of her that's somewhere that you can show us at some point, that would be great too, of the
yeah,
picture.
maybe not right away, but yeah,
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
can, yeah, I'll give it to you. Okay,
Sure.
so let me just cue this up here, make this a little bit louder.
Hmm.
And this is Lady Ukulele.
Mm.
Ukulele girl, why you're such a mystery. From the way we met on that day he did you. You came with me, got in my backseat, then took a ride. You came inside me. Ukulele girl, you came in my life, left me. You were so hard to find. You were blowing my mind. Think you'd be hanging around, playing the sound, singing it to with me. Ukulele, what's your story? Then years ago, I sat here and posed brushed my hair with a gentle hand as we became lovers until we said, Lady Ukulele.
Ukulele girl, why is such a mystery? From the way we met, it on my mind. I wish you could be hanging around, playing the sounds,
Singing
singing
it
to
to
me.
me. La 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 la
I love it. What a
That's
great
it.
idea.
Yeah, turning trash into treasure. It's a true story, and it's
Yeah.
secret of life is just to have an imagination and have some fun with it.
Hmm.
You know, I actually passed this painting off to another person. I was moving some stuff, and I was even going to throw this thing away. Then I wrote the song, and then later on, after I recorded it, I was hiring a moving company, and some guy walked in and he saw it in my back room, and he says, "What is that?" I told him what it was, and he says, "I gotta have it." I said, "You want it that bad?" And he said, "Yeah," and he took it, and I never heard from him again. So now that's the
Wow.
mystery. Now I have a mystery about it. You know, it's probably hanging on his wall somewhere.
Well,
So
send me a picture of it. I'm going to post it at the end of this video when we go live with it. This is great. Thank you so much, Michael. I hope you take these songs to the next level, but they're gorgeous even the way they are. And thank you for sharing them with the world. I think these are great. You're obviously very talented in many areas, and so uh, it's difficult to do everything in your life that you want to do, but you've done a great job on this stuff, and I'm glad to share it with the world. Really appreciate your time
yeah,
today.
well, you've given me a great gift, Andrew. As I told you, these are all startup ideas. It's more
Yeah.
of a dream, personal dream.
Hmm.
You won't find me posting on LinkedIn all about my dreams about creating this music for everyone, but you've actually allowed me to you've listened to all my music, which is
Yeah.
incredible, and
Yeah.
you being a composer yourself, well, it really means a lot to me. And so, what I would
Mm.
say to anybody out there listening to this, get out there and work with others. I'm trying to find collaborators. If you want to collaborate with me on these ideas, if you've got ideas too, I can
Hmm.
work with you and we can collaborate. In fact, we can even do a lot remotely. You can be in anywhere in the world and we can collaborate on music. So it'd be a
Yes.
wonderful idea to actually finish this stuff and then maybe donate the money we'd make to ALS.
That sounds great. That's
So that'd be
great.
wonderful. Yeah. So
Michael,
thank
I
you very
really
much.
enjoy your time today, but also enjoy knowing you and continue to look forward to our time together working on projects. And I wish you the best. And thanks everyone for joining tonight. We look forward to our next event and look forward to posting this online soon. Take care. Have a good night.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks, Andrew.